Hello and welcome to your next history lesson. Today we're learning about life in the Dark Ages and what the Dark Ages were. And our LO is to understand what it was like to live in an Anglo-Saxon village. So the first thing I'd like you to do is to write the date and LO in your book, press pause and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is to recap about what we already know about the Anglo-Saxons. Then we're going to be researching Anglo-Saxon jobs. Then we're going to create a job advertisement, and finally we're going to investigate images of Anglo-Saxon life. So let's get started. What can we remember about the Anglo-Saxons? Pause this video and have a think. Now you might remember that once the Romans left Britain, we had no defences, and that meant that lots of different people and lots of tribes tried to invade Britain and take it over or conquer Britain. So we've got this map up again. Do you remember the Scots came from the north, and then the Jutes, the Angles and the Saxons came from Scandinavia, and they all wanted to live in Britain. And all of this fighting and all of this, all of these people trying to conquer Britain meant that it was quite a dark time, and that's why it was called the Dark Ages. It was very confusing. There was lots of fighting, lots of different groups trying to take charge, and that's why it's called the Dark Ages. Okay, so the Romans, you might remember, they built proper cities and roads and plumbing and lots of different things. However, once the Romans left Britain, the Anglo-Saxons actually chose to not live in those towns and cities. So actually a lot of the Roman cities were kind of left to ruin. They chose to stay in small villages, and these were often set away from a clearing or near a forest. They lived in family houses, and they all had a central hall where the village chief lived. And as you can see from the picture here this is a reconstructed Anglo-Saxon house, it's very, very simple and very different to Roman life. Here's a picture of a Roman and an Anglo-Saxon. Why do you think that Anglo-Saxons chose to create their own villages and not to use the towns and facilities already established by the Romans? Can you think of some reasons? Pause this video and then press play when you're ready to continue. I think that the Anglo-Saxons chose to live somewhere different because they actually wanted a simpler life. They were farmers and they wanted to live off the land, and that's why it was better to live in villages and not in the big Roman towns. Now, everybody in Anglo-Saxon village had a job. Everybody was important and everybody had their role. And there were lots of different jobs that were very important. So things like farming, so clearing and ploughing, could be grinding flour and making bread, growing crops or tending to livestock. And there were blacksmiths that forged metal to make tools and weapons, and metal workers that made brooches and ornaments, and woodworkers that made bowls and wheels and furniture. Everybody were contributed into the running of the village. Can you think of any other jobs that the villagers might need to do? Pause this video and have a think. Now, your job is to research an Anglo-Saxon job. So, I've got a link here to the BBC Bitesize website, and what you're going to do is you're going to type that link into your internet search, and then you're going to have a read about the Anglo-Saxons and their jobs, and choose one job and write down some notes about the role. You might want to search the internet for this job as well, and use some other sources to help you with your notes and not just use the website. Okay, so once you've typed in that link into your internet, you should reach this BBC Bitesize page. So at the top it should say who were the Anglo-Saxons. So if you go down, you might want to read this as a little clip as well, but this is what we learnt about yesterday. If you keep going down, it says explore the village below and listen to Hild as she tells you about her life, friends and family. So you should be able to click on different parts of the picture, and those are the different jobs that Hild will tell you about. So you can press that, write down some notes to help you. You can read down as well, there's some more information, or you might want to use some other parts of the internet to find more information about one of the jobs. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video, make some notes about one job, and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay, you should now have some notes about one village job. I hope you've got lots of information. So now what I'd like you to do is to create a job advertisement about the job that you've been researching. So I would like you to, you can make a poster, so you can make it look really creative. You need to say what job it is that is wanted. What must this person be able to do? And then I'd like you to write a little description. So an Anglo-Saxon something would, and then describe what that role, why that role is important and what they would do. So here's my little example. So I've chosen a blacksmith. So I've made a picture there. Obviously you can make it a lot more creative than this. So it wanted a blacksmith. An Anglo-Saxon blacksmith was responsible for melting metal to make weapons and tools for other villagers. They would also make items like brooches for villagers to wear. So you can write a little bit more than this as well, because I'm sure you've done a lot of research. So what I'd like you to do now is to pause the video, make your poster, and then press play when you're ready to continue for the next part of the lesson. Okay, well done for making your wanted posters. I'd love to see them if you'd like to email them in. Okay, next part of our lesson. So we're going to have a think about Anglo-Saxon life. So I want you to have a really good look at this picture. There's lots and lots going on, so pause this video, have a really good look and have a think about what it tells you about Anglo-Saxon life. Okay, once you've had a look at that, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you in your book to write some bullet points about what it tells you about Anglo-Saxon life. So hopefully you've had a really good look and you've got some ideas of what to write. I'm also going to show you some more pictures on the next slides, which what I'd like you to do is just, as I go through them, press pause, add some more bullet points, and then press play when you're ready to continue on to the next picture. So here's another picture of a reconstructed Anglo-Saxon village. Press pause and write down your ideas. What does it tell you about Anglo-Saxon life? Were they rich? Were they poor? Did they like to live with other people? Okay, here's some Anglo-Saxon fighters. What does that tell you about Anglo-Saxon life? Here's an abbey. What does that tell you? So an abbey is a religious setting, kind of like a church. It's very different to their huts, isn't it? Okay. This says Woden. I wonder who that could be. Write down your ideas. We're going to use this in a future lesson. Okay, well done today. You've worked really, really hard, and I'll see you in the next lesson.